What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Soda Nerds Collector's Corner. And today, we're going to take a look at the Black Friday of the comic book world. Free Comic Book Day, huh? Now, in this episode, it's going to be more slanted to you beginner comic book collectors. I want to try to help you guys out, throw you guys a couple of tips, just the in and outs and do's and don'ts of your first or second Free Comic Book Day. Just so it's not so overwhelming. But if you are a seasoned Free Comic Book Day collector, I would like you guys to watch the video, throw down any comments or any extra tips that I would totally forget. I like to keep my videos short, so if you got some extra tips for our newbies, hey, throw them down there for me, eh? So, what is Free Comic Book Day? It's kind of like the Black Friday of the comic book world, except it's on Saturday, the first Saturday in May to be exact. Now, when they say Free Comic Book Day, it doesn't mean, hey, every comic is free! No. But you do get a big bag full of comics. Now, what's in these bags? A bunch of storylines that are up and coming for all ages, all age demographics, different storylines for just about anybody. And thanks to my friends here at The Gamers Den, they have made a clear and easy chart for us to be able to see exactly which titles are good for what ages. But more importantly, there's sales. Bunch of money-saving sales on backorder issues, old comics, even some of the rarer keys that you can get a great deal on. Now, again, if this is your first Free Comic Book Day, some of this stuff can be overwhelming. You have a bunch of people looking at a huge assortment of comic books. So these are just a couple of my personal tips that I'm going to share with you just for you newbies. Now, whether or not this is your first time or your 50th time, it is always good to have in mind at least 3 to 5 comics that you're really looking for. Some different key issues, maybe like a Secret Wars number 8 or a first appearance of Throg, things to look for as soon as you get there to kind of go, all right, these are my goals. This is what I'm going after. Now, if you don't know or you kind of go, all right, well, there is a large assortment of key issues that I want. All right, well, then maybe just pick out 2 to 3 characters that you really like. Maybe you don't know your key comics yet, and that's fine. Pick out your key characters. You got your Spider-Mans, your Thors, your Batmans, your Supermans. Have your characters in mind. Now, most comic book places are going to have their stores set up so that they have their genres sectioned out. You have your DCs and your Marvels and your Independents all sectioned out, and then you can find your key characters. So if I'm looking for Spider-Man, I'm going to look in the Marvel, look in my Spider-Man, and just flip through and enjoy. You'd be surprised on some of the awesome books that you can find. Some old ones, some newer back issues, you'll find tons. So always keep that in mind. Now, another thing to look at when you first walk in, you might see rows and rows of boxes and tables of comic books. But don't forget to look up on the wall. The wall comics tend to have more of the key comic issues or the slabbed, graded comic books. Those are more spendy and the rarer ones that they want to highlight. So if you're a big spender and you know what you want, always look to the wall. They might have what you're looking for. All right, so I know some of you guys are going, hey, Benny, how do I know whether or not this comic is in good condition? Should I buy this? Should I not? Is this junk? What am I looking for? What am I looking at? All right, so first of all, let's look at this. Now, for some of you, this might be the first time you ever see graded comic books, okay? They're slabbed, graded comic books. Now, what do I mean by graded? Each one of these slabbed comic books has a number up on top. Now, 10 being the highest number, and then they get marked down for little imperfections, little things. The typical ones that you'll come across is a 9.8. That's a really good condition comic book, okay? If you find a 9.9 or a Grail, a 10, my goodness, you are witnessing something that very few have seen. But typically, you'll come across a 9.8. Now, another thing that you might come across are signed comics. Signed comics usually have a different color label, and then it is specified on the label who it is signed by, when it was signed, and of course, the grade. Now, you'll have to decide whether or not the price on there is worth it or not, because you did your homework for the books that you're looking for, right? But don't worry, you got your phone on you. Look at eBay prices. Make sure these things aren't skyrocketed too high for you. You don't want to be taken that way. Now, those are graded comic books. Sometimes they have those off to the side, but most of the time they'll be on the wall. Other things to look for are going to be things like the color. The color? Yes, the color. The color makes a huge, huge difference. Now, let's take a look at these closely. Here are two of my favorite issues that I have of Marvel Team-Up's Spider-Man. This is the first appearance of the black-suited Spider-Man. Now, as you can see, there are two different purples there. One is a lot deeper, richer, and one is a lot lighter. You have to go for the colors that are stronger and well set, not faded out, not lit up because it was in the sun, ones that were taken care of. Again, other things to look for in two of my favorite comics. Other things to look for are like spine ticks. Things that have broken the color, dings, scratches, dents. You don't want any of those. You want to look for cleaner, better edges. Now, those are for some of the older comics. Now, some of the newer stuff you can find, and they'll look more crisp and clean. The edges will be set. Nice square corners. Things to look for there. Now, some of you are going, I love the holographics. I love those reflective foils. Well, then you better start looking to make sure that those reflective foils don't have all sorts of scratches and dings, because those will pick up on the light so much more. So you want to have those nice, crisp, and clean. Look for the best ones that you can. Maybe comics that could be pressed out. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean comics that look real clean, real nice, but maybe have some slight wrinkling to them that could be pressed and ironed out. Now, there are certain places that do certain pressings on these so that they're not showing the ripples and the wrinkles. Things to look into before you get them graded so you can get the highest grading possible. Another big tip, honestly, guys, never be afraid to ask questions. Never be afraid to ask questions from the staff, because they want to sell you stuff. So ask them. Ask them anything. Ask them, can I get that down? Can I take a closer look at that? Hey, would you be able to knock a couple bucks off here? Sometimes they're willing to negotiate. Don't be shy on asking. Don't miss the opportunity by not asking questions, all right? Now, another one of my big tips that a lot of times gets overlooked is, well, make sure you have snacks, drink lots of water, and stretch. I know you're going, what? Wait, what? Yeah. You don't want to be hungry while you're out and about. Sometimes you may be in a comic book store for hours, and you don't want to miss out on something that you could have gotten if you weren't so hungry or so thirsty. And I say stretch because let me tell you, there's nothing more than back pains when you're going through and reaching out over through all these boxes, looking through all these titles that you've never seen before and getting so excited. And then you're walking back with a big stack of comic books. So you want to stretch before you go in. you want to drink some water, you want to have some food, get yourself going right, all right? Now, my number one all-time big rule: collect what you love. Love what you collect. You guys know what I say here. Something's only worth what somebody's going to be paying for it, so don't go get lost in going, oh, I want that issue. I could resell that. I could do that. No. Don't play that game. You might get yourself in trouble. Stay calm and collect what you love. I mean, it may not be the greatest title, but it might have that awesome cover you're looking for. Now, sometimes when I'm out and about, I do look for those old comics, but those kind of rare ones that I never seem to find. I look at this and I go, I didn't care what condition this was in. This one here is not in the best condition. It had a bunch of spine ticks, bunch of folded pages on the inside, color breaks on both the front and back. But you know what? I was just happy that I got one. Just collect what you love. Go after what you're going for. Don't get caught up in values. Don't get caught up in money. All right? Now, I think that about does it here for me. If you guys have any extra tips, go ahead and throw those in the comments. Let's get everybody happy. Let's get everybody going. Go out there, collect what you love. And once again, thanks for joining me here on the Soda Nerds Collector's Corner. And remember, it's always fun to be a kid, even if you aren't one, huh? We'll see you guys next time.